In this video, I am going to review the Plant and Plot galvanized raised garden beds. This one is the 8 foot by 4 foot by 1 foot tall. I'm going to assemble it, give you the key features, talk about the pros and cons, and let you know what I think about it so far. I purchased this on Amazon. Regularly priced, it is $59.99, but I got it for $29.99. It came with really detailed instructions. Everything was packaged really well. These are the end pieces for the rounded ends. It has a gasket that goes around the top edge. These are the braces that support the edges. Some miscellaneous parts, and it came with some really cute tags. I like those. The nuts and screws have a nice little container that comes in handy. I'll show you later. And then the flat pieces came with rubber corners so that you wouldn't be poked by the sharp edges. Packaged really well. It has extra screws and the little nuts, and this little tray came in handy. And the little wrench that helps you assemble it. This really was handy. After putting several of these together, there are a few tips that I discovered and I want to share with you. So hang on while I assemble these. I do have some little tips that I think you'll appreciate. I'm getting everything separated out. You have 2 pieces for each side and 3 pieces for the ends. Each piece has little tabs that insert into the holes, so that kind of secures them together. I'll show you a little closer here in a second. But you connect those pieces, slip the tabs in the holes, and then you just attach with the screw and the little nut. The first thing I did was assemble the 3 rounded pieces that was on each end. Now here are the little tabs that I was telling you about that would go through each of the little holes, and all of them went in real easy, but these curved edges you had to finagle a little bit, and they were a little hard to push down with your hand, but I just come in and push them down with the end of the screwdriver. Wasn't that hard. On one of the end pieces they have their logo stamped, so if something like that would bother you if it was upside down, just pay attention to that, because now's the time to make sure it's going in the right direction. And for some reason it bothered me, and I had to make sure that they were not upside down on every one of these pieces. But I probably never would have noticed it again, but it bugged me. I wanted to mention that over the fall and winter would be a good time to purchase you some beds. That way you could do it gradually, and then you could gradually start filling them so you didn't have as much cost all at once. That's actually what I'm doing to 3 of my beds, because I don't need them until October, and I'm going to gradually fill them between now and then. And I have a video coming out where I'm going to be doing that, so catch that if it's something you'd be interested in. Now on this curved section, as it met the flat section, there were just a few of them that needed a little extra help, but really nothing bad at all. I think it's just where they laid in the packaging and got a little bent. Now I'm going to go ahead and assemble the side pieces. Even though we need to come back in with the brackets, I'm going to get it all together, and then we're going to come in and put those support brackets in one at a time. Loosely put these screws in, and I'm not going to tighten up the 3 on the sides,
well, the 6 on the sides, because we're getting ready to go in and put in the middle brackets. Everything's just loosely put together so that we can get it to hold still. Then we're going to go through and tighten everything up. You're just holding and tightening. I'm holding it and you're just tightening. I'm going to do the middle one first, and we're just going to do them one at a time because we don't want it to fall apart on us. Just unscrew these, and you can see the brackets are going in with the tall part up, and we're going to make sure we have them all going in the same direction. So we're just going to slip that on there, tighten that one up, and we'll come back in with our little tool and get everything tight here in a minute. We're going to slip that one through the hole and get it tightened up. My fingers don't cooperate with me sometimes. Okay, and then we're going to come in with our little tool, just hold the screw in place, and we're going to tighten on this side. Easy breezy. Now, the reason you don't tighten everything up super secure as you go, that gives you the flexibility that when you're working on this side and then you're working on that side, it's not so rigid that you can't get the pieces to go together. It just makes it a little bit easier on you. So after you get everything together, it can be slightly loose. Then you go through and tighten everything up. It just makes it a little easier on you. I want to show you something. See, if you come in and just tighten this top piece up, then you're fighting this one to go together. So if it's loose, it's on, but then you can just come in, slip that one right in, and you're not fighting it. We're just going to go push those down, push them down.
Now I have some thoughts on these middle brackets that I'll share with you later, but they just unfold and then you slip them on.
Little tab goes into this little slot. And the same thing, you can just bend it down.
Be careful when you're handling these. They do have some rough, sharp edges.
You always need to be careful when you're working with metal. It has some really sharp edges. Now the edges right here are not sharp, but where they come together, there's some sharp edges here, and you don't want to forget about them and run into them. So it has a rubber gasket that you just place all the way around.
This just slides on real easy, and it may slide off a little easy too. We'll see. And then you just cut it. Scissors would work fine. I use some snippers, and there you are.
It also comes with these 2 little hooks that you hook through the holes at the bottom of one of these brackets and place it in the ground, and that is supposed to secure it in place. So let's talk price. Regularly on Amazon, these are $59.99. However, I got them on sale for $29.99. So I bought 5 of them. Actually, I bought 4, and then I decided I wanted another one, and I went back, and the price had gone up to $35.99. I would have to say that they are worth the price, even at $59.99. A friend of mine actually recommended these, and she had actually purchased them at the $59.99, and from another company she purchased them for $69.99, and she's been using them for years. Now she has some way back that don't even have these brackets, and she did not have these little hooks to hook them in the ground, and she said that once she got them in place, and put the soil in them that they've held up really well and not shifted anywhere. Now let's go over pros and cons. Pros, I think even at $59.99, it is a pretty good price point. However, keep your eye out. You might be able to get them for $29.99. Another pro, it was easy to handle. It wasn't too heavy that I couldn't carry myself, and as you saw, I assembled it myself. Now, I probably will get help from my husband to assemble the rest of them just to save time, but I just wanted to show you if there's any ladies out there that you might question if you would be able to do it, you can do it. You can do it. That is easy breezy. Now the cons, and there are a few. Some of the cons, like I said earlier, that any of these metal pieces that are not rolled, they are sharp. They have some sharp edges. However, I just assembled this whole thing and I didn't cut myself once, and that's a miracle. Another con, in my opinion, are the supports. I feel that when you get in here digging around, you would have these you would be bumping into, and like I said, the edges are sharp. You might forget about them and bump into them. My husband and I, knowing me, and to prevent hazards, we're going to do something a little different, and we are going to be putting all of these together and setting them up in the garden, and we also are going to show how we're going to remedy this with not using these braces, and also how we're going to secure them in our garden. So I will have that video up as soon as we get that filmed. It should be about a week or so, so if that's something you might be interested in, come check that out. Another con, in my opinion, is the two little hooks that they have that are supposed to secure that in the ground. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and that is another reason that my husband and I are going to do something a little different. However, in all honesty, I talked to my friend Christy, who has had these for years, and she likes them well enough. If this speaks of anything, she just purchased 9 more of these because she got them on the sale price. So in my opinion, that speaks volumes of how they're holding up. And she's had some, I think, for at least 5, maybe 6 years. Now, she has said that they have not slipped or moved on her at all. She even has some that does not have the braces that are older, and she has not had a problem with that at all. So if you wanted to get this as is and use it as is in your garden, I think it would be perfectly fine and serve you well. And the final con is expense of filling it up. However, that's a con with all raised beds. With raised beds, you're going to have enough material to fill this up. Now, in the brochure, they give you some tips on how you can fill from the bottom up until the first half of it or so, or a little less. You can fill it with other material and then just put your top quality soil on the top 4 inches, 6 inches or so. That would save you a lot of money. I have some solutions that I'm going to be using to fill my 5 beds. That will also be in that other video, so come check that out. My final conclusion is yes, I would recommend this bed, and I would buy it again, and I probably will. I hoped I cleared up any questions you had about this product and gave you some value. If I did, I ask you if you would hit the like and subscribe button. That helps this get out to reach other people, and it also helps me. I thank you all so much for hanging out with me. My name's Loanna, and this is Little Bit of Homestead.